Hey y'all, happy Thursday. So we are going to start digging into a different account today and tomorrow. In this, I'm Fearless, looking at the transformation, or what this spirit that God has given us, what it really looks like in action. So we've spent a good few days in that 2 Kings with the Shunammite woman. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 more accounts that I thought about that we really should look at, because this is practical application, right? A lot of times people talk about the word and walking by faith and this and that and the other, and well, all of that sounds really good, but what does it look like practically? I mean, how am I supposed to live without fear practically in my life? Well, this Shunammite woman has just given us a really good example to follow. She has shown us what it means and what it looks like to walk by His Spirit, the Spirit that God has given us, rather than the spirit of fear. Excuse me. So let's go to John 4. Let's go to John chapter 4. Familiar story, but a different type of fear we'll say, okay? So this is John chapter 4, and this is the woman at the well, okay? And I'm certain you're like, how in the world does that fit in with I am fearless? But we're going to talk about this particular kind of fear. Remember when we first started, we dug into the Amplified version, which says, I've not given you a spirit of timidity, of cowardice, of craven and cringing and fawning fear, but then the kind of spirit He has given us. So in all of those, timidity, cowardice, craving, cringing, and fawning, those are all types of fear. And cringing, or to shrink back in fear, and a slave mentality, lack of courage or lacking boldness. So this woman, feeling less than, you can feel afraid because you don't fit in. You feel like you're not good enough. All of that's still fear. So let's talk about this woman at the well. Interesting. Just thought about this. How many are women? Let's see, I have the Shunammite, this woman at the well, and another woman, and then I have 2 men. So, okay, that's a pretty good balance. All of my examples are of women, which, that's good in the Bible to have women examples to look at. But John chapter 4, we're going to start in verse, verse 4. And it was necessary for Him to go through Samaria. And in doing so, He arrived at a Samaritan town called Sychar, near the tract of land that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. And Jacob's well was there. So Jesus, tired as He was from His journey, sat down to rest by the well. It was then about the 6th hour. So that's about 12 o'clock noon. Okay, this is the hot part of the day in the desert. Nobody else there. Presently, when a woman from Samaria came along to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." For His disciples had gone off into town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to Him, "How is it that you, being a Jew, ask me, a Samaritan, and a woman, for a drink? For the Jews have nothing to do with the Samaritans." And Jesus answered her, "If you had only known and recognized God's gift, and who this is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked Him instead, that He would have given you living water." And she said to Him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw with, no drawing bucket, and the well is deep. How then can you provide living water? Where do you get your living water? Are you greater than and superior to our ancestor Jacob, who gave us this well, and who used to drink from it himself, and his sons, and his cattle also?" Jesus answered her, "All who drink of this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks of the water that I will give him shall never, no, never be thirsty any more. But the water that I give him shall become a spring of water welling up, flowing, bubbling continually within him, and unto forever, or eternal, with him unto eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir," there's notes in my Bible, and I was having a hard time reading the verse. the notes are written. But this is a good place to stop. We're at 5 minutes. And so he said, but the water that I give him shall continually, or shall become a spring of water welling up, flowing, bubbling continually within him unto eternal life. And that's where we'll pick up tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.